Welcome back, my friends. Steven here from NWSmallBatchBrewing. Today is a brew talk. I'm between home brews, or I'm editing a full brew video for you, something like that, and it will be out when it's ready. Whew, I'm out of breath because I'm running back and forth, and it is super hot here. It's muggy, it's gray, and hazy. You don't need to know that. Today, we are talking about yeast esters, because you know what? I don't really see videos about this. It's not talked about too much. By the way, this is my homebrew. I would have already posted the video for this, so it is my Mirror Pond Pale Ale clone, and it turned out spectacular. So check that out if you're looking for a really good pale ale recipe. At any rate, esters. Let's talk about yeast ester. I call them yeast esters. These are the things that give you kind of a fruity flavor in your beer. It's very common that this is really interesting to me. It's fascinating. So German Hefeweizens have a banana and clove flavor to them, and that is from the yeast esters. And it's on purpose. They want it that way. Whereas most Hefeweizens or wheat beers made here in the United States, we don't do that. We don't purposely, we try to actually brew them without the yeast esters. So if you're not used to that, you go to drink a Hefeweizen like in Germany, you might kind of be taken aback and be like, whoa, what's going on here? So it's interesting. So you're going to get yeast esters. They will give you like a banana flavor. You might even get pear, rose. And if it gets too strong, like there's too much yeast esters in the beer, you'll start getting a solvent flavor and smell. So solvent is like cleaning solvent, like turpentine or something like that. Nail polish remover, that sort of thing. It's not pleasant, right? You definitely don't want that. So what is it? What is an ester? What is yeast esters? Well, I don't want to go into the super science of it because I am not a super scientist. But I can tell you that the combination or the interaction between the ethanol in your beer, which is the alcohol. Well, it's one kind of alcohol that's in your beer. Fatty acids that's in your beer. And I'm looking at my notes because I'm going to say this wrong. Acetyl, I don't know, coerzyme? Something like that. Anyway, those all combine together to make ethyl acetate. Now, if you're like me, you'll cling onto that word acetate and realize, oh yeah, that's could be why you get this solvent flavor, right? Because a lot of solvents have that acetone, acetate, that verbiage, right? So you obviously don't want to have too much, or it's going to ruin your beer. But if you are making a beer and you are trying to target those ester flavors, sometimes you do, sometimes you want them. If you're making a traditional Hefeweizen, you're definitely going to try to get those esters and those flavors in there. Actually, I would say when I first encountered like the banana flavor and the clove flavor in a German Hefeweizen, I was just like, oh, ew, But now it feels wrong not to have it because, I know that it's supposed to be there and expect it. And yeah, it's not bad. So we know that esters come from yeast, right? So your yeast strain can make a big difference in how much esters you're going to get, right? So if you're making a beer like a German Hefeweizen, make sure you're using some kind of Bavarian wheat beer, yeast that is specifically, for that beer, because that will help tremendously in getting that particular flavor profile. Your beer temperature makes a difference. I'm sorry, I would say, you could say beer, but I'm going to say your fermentation temperature. The higher you ferment at, the more rapid your fermentation or the yeast growth, right? And that's going to create more of that acetate transformation, and will give you more of the flavors from the esters. So higher, if you're on the higher end, right? You don't want to go too high. You don't want off flavors, but if you're purposely trying to get esters, you want to try to ferment at the higher end of that yeast tolerance range. And conversely, obviously, if you're trying to avoid yeast esters, you want, like say you're making a lager, right? Then you want to actually ferment at the lower end of what it will tolerate, because the lower the temperature, the fewer esters you're going to get. Another way you can increase your esters is your pitch rate, your yeast pitch rate, right? This one's tough for me because if you're not careful, you can screw this up, right? If you under pitch your yeast on a beer, you can create a stressed yeast that will cause off flavors. So I really can't give you numbers. I don't know how much you need to under pitch your yeast, but I do know that under pitching it will cause more esters to form. So this one I've never tested. I just don't feel comfortable trying to use less yeast than is, called for. Because like I say, you don't want to get other off flavors for that just to get the esters. No one wants, a nice banana-y beer filled with acetaldehyde, So obviously, if you, I don't want to say overpitch, but if you pitch properly, like the proper amount expected, you're going to get less esters than if you underpitch. And last way to try to get more esters into your beer, we push this on all my videos and any really homebrewing video you're going to watch. Oxygenate your wort. All right, properly oxygenating your wort will give you less or lower amounts of esters. And that's normally what you want, right? So making sure you get good amount of oxygen at the beginning will help a good, clean, solid fermentation. Now, if you under-oxygenate and don't put enough, it can create more esters. And like I say, in some beers, that's something you want, but at the same time, how much do you under-oxygenate, and how well can you control that? I don't have those numbers, and so I don't think I would try this one either, because you're, again, risking a lot of off flavors by not properly oxygenating your wort at the beginning. So you might get more esters, but you might also get a lot more other off flavors that you don't want. Anyway, I hope that helps. If you hear people talking about yeast esters and esters in your beer, there are certain beers that do that, and some people make like fruited beers or stuff, or whatever kind of beer it is, and they're trying to extract a certain ester, and they're going for a yeast that's known for a certain flavor of the esters that they're trying to pull out of it to increase that flavor within the beer. Anyway, I'm going to cut this one short a little bit here, and I will finish up my beer, and I'll be back next week for another video, and until then, keep on brewing.